Hi there, welcome. My name is Jason, and what I have to share with you today is how to make your own hummingbird nectar / Oriole nectar. So I have two separate feeders right here and some cleaning tools, and I'm just going to go over it really quick. It's very, very simple. So I'm just going to show you how to assemble these and how to maintain them as well. So what I've started with is I've already made the nectar, and the nectar is pretty simple to make. So for hummingbird nectar, you want to do 1 part sugar to 4 parts purified water. And the type of sugar I would use is refined white cane sugar. And if you have organic available in the store that you go to, that's good too, so long as it's white refined. You want it very refined. You don't want lots of sediment in it. I would avoid raw sugar that's like yellow, and sugar that's not from sugar cane. So I would stick to this refined sugar cane, and if you have white refined sugar cane that's organic and you want to get that, it is more expensive. But if you want to use that, feel free to as well. Those will both work. As far as the water, purified water. So as far as the measurements, an easy way to do it is I just do 1 cup sugar to 4 parts purified water. And that's a hummingbird nectar recipe. As far as Orioles, it's typically 1 part sugar to 6 parts water. So, but the hummingbird nectar, the Orioles and the hummingbirds can enjoy it. And unless you have Orioles, you might just have the hummingbirds drinking out of your Oriole feeder. The hummingbirds can go back and forth from feeder to feeder and drink out of whichever one they want. However, if Orioles come into your neighborhood, they can only drink out of the Oriole feeder. And the difference is the hummingbird spouts, they're very, very tiny, and that's just made for hummingbirds only, where the Oriole feeder has a bigger beak spout. Orioles also drink nectar as well, it's just their beak is bigger, so they can only drink out of this one. As far as assembling the nectar, I heat the water up in a heavy bottom pot that conducts the heat really nicely. Once the water hits a rolling boil, I put the sugar in, turn the heat down, and melt it in. And it's pretty simple. This is the type of pot I would use. And yeah, I would just cook it for a few minutes, just to get the sugar melted into the water, and then allow the nectar to cool down before you put it into your feeders. As you can see, they both have plastic parts, and you really don't want boiling hot water on plastic, to cause the plastic to leach into the hummingbird's nectar. So I've already made the nectar and let it cool. I made the hummingbird nectar, the 1 part sugar to 4 parts water, and I doubled it. Just so I can show you how I do this. So once it's cooled, I poured it into a glass pitcher, and I'll go over these really quick. So we have your hummingbird nectar feeder, and this goes with the red base that I was showing you earlier. And so since I put it in a pitcher already, I can just pour it in. And I use a towel underneath just to catch any of the drippings. Or if you're at the sink, you can do this and the drippings can just go into the sink. Totally fine. And I'm gonna split this nectar up. And if you have extra, you can always put it in the refrigerator for about a week. So I have the lid just goes on, or the top part of the spout goes there. The base goes here. You twist it. And then once you've got it snug, you can turn it, and there you go. And so that's the hummingbird nectar feeder. The Oriole feeder is plastic, and a note to remember is don't ever put this in the dishwasher, never, because this actually will melt. And when it comes to placement, I recommend placing your hummingbird or Oriole nectar feeders in shade, or bright indirect light, just not in direct sunlight. And think of the sun throughout the course of the day, not just any one time of the day. You really don't want direct sunlight just heating that sugar up, increasing the growth rate of any algae that might have made its way in there. You really want to, and also you don't want the plastic being heated up by the sun too and leaching into their nectar. So really just place these feeders in the shade or bright indirect light. Morning sun's probably okay, but not much past that. So here is the Oriole feeder. I'm just gonna pour some of this nectar in here. And the last place I lived in Walnut Creek, actually, we had regular Orioles that would come and drink from here. I didn't really know if they were gonna come, but I wanted to try it out and see if they would. I did some homework online and there were, sightings and people knew about the Orioles being local, and lo and behold, each and every year the Orioles would come and feed on the Oriole nectar. Where I live now in Martinez, I've had an Oriole come once. It didn't stay though, so I don't know why. Birds kind of decide where they want to live. So if you have one that is a resident or decides to come and be a resident, you'll notice them come feed regularly on your feeder. And if not, the hummingbirds will enjoy this. And your nectar that we're making here is good for 1 to 2 weeks. So keep that in mind. And after it's expired, you want to change it out just to keep the containers clean and the nectar fresh. All right. And as far as another thing that I've added in this video, it's an ant mote, also referred to as an insect guard. And what this does is you put a little bit of water here in the top. If you can see, it's like a little upside down umbrella. And so you put the water in there and then you loop it on your feeder and then it hangs like that. And so what this does is, I don't know if you've ever had a hummingbird feeder, it's sugar water. And so ants love it. And so what they'll do is you'll see them like climbing up the sides of the wall and like around, and then they'll come down the little chain that your hummingbird feeder's on, hanging by, and then they'll come down and they'll just be like going to town on the nectar. So in order to keep them out, if you hang this with a little bit of water, they come down the wall and then they hit the water and they can't really go past it to get to your feeder. So ant motes are pretty awesome. I've included links below for both feeders as well as an ant mote, as well as this cleaning device. And what this is, these are pipe cleaners. And you really want these when it comes to cleaning your hummingbird feeder. They're very inexpensive. They come with different size brushes on them, as you can see. And these are really useful because you can get really into those grooves in the base of your hummingbird feeders as well as inside the bottle if you see any like algae or mold like growing in there. So these are super useful. This is what I use to clean. I use a very, very diluted solution of water and a plant-based dish soap. So just like a couple drops, because you really don't want to use a lot of soap on these. You want them to be like very clean, just like the feeder and water with the sugar. So use a very gentle soap. I like this one made by 7th Generation. You can also use water and vinegar if you want to do that as well. It's pretty much up to you. And I recommend hand washing these, scrubbing them out with your cleaners and using that very mild soap and getting them really rinsed off before you put the nectar in. Your ant mote comes with an additional hook to kind of keep it hanging. And did we get everything? We did. So if you have any questions about any of this or how to put together your hummingbird and or Oriole nectar feeder, please feel free to let me know in the comments below. And once again, my name is Jason. Thanks so much for hanging out.